And others like Representative John Lewis.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You do not consider him a legitimate president. Why is that?
I think the Russians participated in helping this man get elected, and they helped destroy the candidacy of Hillary Clinton.
You know, it's sad to me someone with the respectability and legacy of John Lewis would lash out like that. But then again, welcome to the Democratic Party of 2017. But here to throw some truth, I welcome former Black Panther and author of Tribalism, Mason Weaver. Mason, thanks for being with me tonight.
My pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
So this is a very interesting perspective, and I have a lot of things I want to ask you about. Let's start with Representative John Lewis, though. I know you've been quoted in the past as showing a little bit of disgust with some of his remarks. So let's get into that.
You are a very kind lady to say my disgust was a little bit. He is a disgusting representation of Black leadership. He has sold out his people for a piece of crumbs to a Democratic table. The Democratic Party went to war to keep people in slavery. The Democratic Party beat his behind on Petmus Bridge. He got off the ground, and he joined George Wallace. He joined Bull Connors. He joined the White Citizens Council. He joined a part of the Klan to continue to oppress his own people. He is a self-hating clown.
Well, I mean, I think you're right. Disgust is mildly put. But, you know, it's interesting because as soon as someone, Donald Trump or others that come out and criticize his comments about Trump being an, illegitimate president, as soon as we criticize someone like John Lewis, it's thrown back in our faces. And then all of a sudden, even criticizing him for whatever reason makes folks like me racist. What's your take on that?
I want to talk to my nice conservative friends. I was a good liberal at Berkeley. And I want to explain to you their tactic. They have to call you a name. Every time you speak the truth, they must call you a name, because calling you a name gets you off the truth into defending yourself. You stop telling the truth and start saying, I'm not a racist, I'm not a racist. Democrat Party hate the truth. It's like a brick to their head. They hate the truth. So you have to stop being so sensitive to the word calling. Democrats and the liberals are the enemy of democracy. They're the enemy of freedom. They prefer you to be comfortable in your poverty and never free. So I suggest that you great conservatives join us in the Civil War. We're going to have to fight back, imprison them, not find common ground. We must lead them and govern them. Never let these clowns at the seat of decision making. They are against your principles.
Well, I agree, and I think that that's why folks like myself are so threatening, because I refuse to be quiet and I push back. And they hate that more than anything, because their labels and their name calling, it doesn't affect me and it doesn't keep me quiet. But, moving on, I've noticed this a lot, especially with the Democratic Party in 2017, is that they seek to divide. I personally don't think that Democrats could get elected into office if they didn't divide us. If they didn't make government the holy grail and make folks dependent on government, I don't think they could get elected. I really don't.
I want to tell you something. I'm a fan of your intellect. You see things so clearly. You see through the phase, through the haze, through the nonsense. You know they are the party of division. Look at you. They look at you and they determine if you are nationality. They must separate you on a plantation, field slave, house slave, getting the cotton to the market slave. They are the enemy of freedom. So let's stop desiring to find common ground. If I had a glass of pure water and a glass of muddy water, if you're the pure water, any compromise makes you dirty. We must separate ourselves from them. Americans of all ilk, black, white, rich, poor, we must continue to divide ourselves into us and these clowns. I call them poverty pimps.
Well, I mean, they're trying to force folks back onto the urban plantation, and that's the most disgusting thing of all. And they're using the welfare state and entitlements to do that, and then they're using it to put, a cloak over these people and make them think that they're all marching for some kind of a purpose. They're all marching for something like civil rights or equality or women's rights, but in actuality, they're marching for the fractured remains of the Democratic Party. But, I wonder, Mason, do you think that the Democratic Party is going to get smart to this? After all, they did lose the election with their identity politics. Are they going to wake up and realize that this is a losing tactic?
They think this is a winning tactic. You have to understand how they think. They believe they're stronger now because we have separated ourselves. They got their own people now that they can manhandle themselves. They have their own slaves they can manipulate. You mentioned marching and demonstrating. Listen to them. They're marching for minimum wage, not maximum wage. They're marching for low-income housing, not high-income housing. They're marching to continue. They're demanding to continue to send their schools to these gang prep schools. Their kids. They're demanding better treatment in misery, not freedom from misery. They're angry because they think you are superior to them. They believe it. So the solution is to first cut ourselves from them and reach out into that community and bring those folks out who want to be free. Democrats will never give up the battle, and neither should we.
Because they preach the victimhood narrative, and they like to tell folks that they are victims, and that's the way that they encapsulate them and then make them loyal voters for generations and generations. And that's, to me, what is so frustrating. I want to get your take on something else. Just a day or so ago, Donald Trump made a declaration about the inner cities of Chicago, and he said that, something needs to be done, or perhaps he would have some kind of a federal intervention. What's your take on that? How do we solve problems in the inner cities, especially like south side of Chicago? What do we do there to lessen some of the problems and the challenges?
That is fueled by self-hatred. It is fueled by a victim disease that allows that man, and it's only men, to rob and kill each other because they fear that they cannot contribute anything to life. So we have to build up manhood. We first must arrest Rahm Emanuel. We got to get the clown out of office. He is nothing but a detriment to the black community. But then we have to go in and stop this onslaught. Stop this public school system that turns out gang members. We have to start talking about the truth, about the ability for that person to make a living for himself. If we don't do that, what you see in Chicago is self-hatred. They're saying every problem we face in the black community requires white people to do something. Think about it. They protest. They own Chicago. They can control the mayor. They control the district attorney and the judges, and they still complain, white folks, we need better treatment. Every problem they have requires white people to do something. They're saying that they are inferior, and they're saying white people are superior. If you believe that you are inferior, you feel justified in taking money because the white man won't give you a job. You feel justified in abusing your own woman because she thinks she's smart. It is self-hating. The black community is suffering from self-hatred.
Yeah, and the only way we're going to break out of that is someone like Donald Trump that's going to be honest and tell people we're going to give you a hand up, not a handout. I'm excited to see it. I think there's big changes coming. Mason, thanks for being so honest and unfiltered with me. Welcome back to my show anytime.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate it. God bless you.